In this video, we will discuss about another disease that is caused due to misfolded of protein, that is Creutzfeldt-Jacob disease, or in short term we call it as CFD. So, what is the main cause for this Creutzfeldt-Jacob disease is that this normal prion is misfolded in a way that this amino acid, sequence of amino acid that forms a sheet, that is, you can say, one form of secondary uh, structure of proteins is converted into a beta helix. These amino acids are converted into the beta helix, and this leads to improper functioning of this prion that might cause several problems that we will discuss. So, and this can be because of many reasons, such either because of the genetic mutation in the gene that is responsible for this production of this normal prion, or it can be inherited disease or infected or caused because of the infection in the nervous tissues. And this has been found around 300 Americans has been found with this Creutzfeldt-Jacob disease every year. So it's a very rare disease. So let us understand how, what are the problems that might cause, and what is the connection between this problem in prion disease and the symptoms that we have observed. So the normal prion will get affected because of many reasons. Some of them are mentioned here, because of this prion gene mutation or infected nervous tissue, or it can be inherited from the family members. This might lead to misfolded prion. This misfolded prion will continue to accumulate in the brain, that might cause neurodegeneration problems that leads to spongiform brain, or formation of spongiform brain. And this spongiform brain is associated to many diseases that are mentioned here. This paranoia, dementia, psychosis, personality changes, hallucination, and obsessive compulsiveness. So, if someone is observing continuous hallucination, then this could be the result. However, one need to understand that this is very rare. Only the data suggests that only around 300 Americans every year are being detected with this CFD. So let us understand one of the cause in our next slide, that it might this uh, misfolded prion protein might lead to increase in reactive oxygen species, or in short term we know it is also known as ROS, increase in ROS in the, and this might cause several problems. Some of the problems are mentioned here. Because of this ROS, it will affect the normal functioning of protein, such as the function of HSP protein is to ensure that proteins are all gets protein uh, that gets a native structure are pass uh, are then passed through for their final destination, whereas proteins that are not able to form their native structure will be diverted towards uh, will be diverted towards proteasomal degradation. However, because of reactive oxygen species, there is a there is a increase in the transformation of this alpha sheet to beta helical, and as we know, this is the problem that is observed in the abnormal prion protein structure. So these reactive oxygen species promote these kind of changes, and when this and this changes will lead to excessive amount of misfolded protein, and the excessive amount of misfolded protein the can cause or affect the functioning of HSP, that is heat shock proteins, to divert non-native protein towards proteasomal degradation. So this 20x proteasomal degradation will get affected because of reactive oxygen species promote uh, transformation of alpha helix to beta sheet, and this will leads to accumulation of more wild type mutant proteins, and with increase in crowd it is difficult for the chaperones to control or do its function efficiently. That will cause proteotoxicity. It is this problem, proteotoxicity, arises because of increasing number of misfolded protein. This will finally lead to neurodegeneration. Another thing that it will cause is that the reactive oxygen species will affect the functioning of the enzymes that are available in the lysosomes. So because of this, the major function, the function of the lysosomes that involve degradation of the proteins will not be able to perform better. This will lead to accumulation of toxic proteins, and that will cause proteotoxicity, and later on this will leads to neurodegeneration. Another thing that reactive oxygen species will cause is it will leads to oligomerization of amyloid beta and alpha synuclein. And since when uh, there is a uh, there is a there is an argument in the literature then when the proteins are converted from when the protein structures are converted from alpha beta sheets to alpha helix, then they will be prone towards oligomerization, and this oligomerization will leads to amyloidopathy and uh, synucleopathy. And because of the oligomerization, the final result is that the proteins are not able to form their native structure, and neither they are being degraded through proteasomal degradation or normal degradation process. And this will cause the increase in the amount of uh, misfolded or toxic protein that will cause proteotoxicity and finally leads to neurodegeneration. This is one of the effect because of the misfolded proteins, that is in example that we are discussing is CFD. that, that is because of the misfolding of prion protein that will cause reactive oxygen species, and that will lead to neurodegeneration through several factors. I hope you have understood some part of something about this CFD, and if you need to understand more in details, you can go through the references that are provided in the description. That's all for this video. Thank you for your time.